I need to have kind of a real life chat really quick right now because I am currently 3 hours from where I currently live, and I have been pretty often. You're probably starting to get used to this background if you follow me on TikTok. And there's a reason for that. We're trying to move out here, 3 hours from where we currently live. Why in the world we want to do that? Because my partner finally got a job back in November that doesn't make us rich by any stretch of the imagination, but it makes it so we're financially comfortable. We're finally able to buy a full week's worth of groceries without worrying about whether or not we'll be able to afford the electric bill that month, which is pretty nice. I'm not kidding when I say most of the time that you've seen me on this channel, we've been in such poverty that we've gone full weeks before where all we ate was Walmart popcorn because it's all we could afford to eat. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to pay the utility bills and we would have huge problems. And our rent's not even that high in terms of like the national average. Our utility bills aren't that high in terms of the national average, but we were just struggling to that extent, and we're not an isolated incident. So many people our age, I'm a millennial, are struggling with home insecurity, food insecurity, and it's horrible that this nation has allowed an entire generation, technically two entire generations now if you want to count the Zoomers, to end up completely impoverished. We're at a point now where, like I said, we're nowhere near being rich or anything, but we're excited that we actually have something left over in our bank account after we pay our bills for the month and after we buy food. We've been so excited that we can eat more than once a day now, and it's deplorable, like I said, that it even got to this point, and it wasn't our fault. She played by the boomer playbook to a T. She did everything by their rules. They say, okay, as soon as you're done with high school, make sure that you get a job so that you can go and get a college education, get your degree so that you can get paid more and get a good job. So she did. She got this little service working job so she could pay for her college. She went, she did that. She racked up a ton of student loan debt because it's pretty much impossible to not do that these days. Ended up not able to easily get a job in the field that she got the degree in, even though they promised her the moon and back with it. Had to settle for other jobs that either gave her no benefits and good pay or good benefits and no pay, which you kind of need both to survive. You can't be paid next to nothing but have good health insurance because you still can't pay the difference then. And then, as if that wasn't a pain enough, what do they tell her? She says, I'm miserable at the job I'm at. It doesn't pay me enough. This isn't working. So they say, oh, well, all you have to do is get a new job. She is qualified. She has a college degree. She has 10 years worth of experience in the field she's working in. We searched and applied for 2 years to different jobs. No one ever got back to her. She would try to catch up with them. She had an amazing resume, had it checked over several times by professionals. She made sure she had good references. Still, no one called back. And come to find out, the reason no one's calling back to her was the same reason no one calls anyone else who's a millennial or Zoomer back. It's because it's all done by an AI. And if you don't magically know what the keywords are that they pick up on, you're just not going to get anything out of them. You're screwed, and it's really unfair. So she played by the rules, and we lucked out. Luckily, she did get a job. Not everyone is going to be as lucky as she was, but she got a job that was better. She has great benefits and good pay now. But we have to move out here 3 hours away from where we currently live, because if we don't, it's going to take her like 5 hours to drive to work every day, which is kind of impossible. We're only going to be about an hour outside of her job from here, and the taxes are low, so it's definitely worth it, and she doesn't mind the hour drive at all. But that brings me to something. I've seen some people who are disabled on YouTube talk about the fact that when you buy a house and you're in a wheelchair or otherwise like physically disabled, it can be difficult because you need to make sure that things are adaptive. But what I haven't seen is how difficult it is when you're physically disabled and you're actively trying to find a house. We haven't been like fully approved yet. We've put an offer in on one and we're hoping it will work. But the worst thing for me has been that, one, I do make an income, but because I'm physically disabled and my disability involves chronic pain that can happen at the drop of a hat, like I don't always get fair warning before it happens, that makes me an unreliable worker, which means only certain people are willing to hire me. So I don't have that much money to offer. So I already felt bad knowing that if I had a higher income, we would have been more likely to get a higher home loan than we did. On top of that, we would find house after house and everyone would be like, oh, that's perfect. It's wonderful. It's like well below your budgets. It's close to work. Like that's perfect. We would go view the property and it turned out it wasn't accessible for me. Even the house we've put the offer on now, it's a good size. It's under budget. Everything seems perfect, but there's 2 flights of stairs, which means that since this is the only option we've had and we kind of just have to get something sooner than later so she, doesn't get in trouble at work or anything, I'm going to have to, within like a month, pack everything at my current house, box it up, get 2 stair lifts in that house before I move there that are hopefully affordable, get everything set up, and then move in. And it's difficult. I had this huge stint of what I call disability guilt, and she doesn't do anything to trigger it whatsoever. Like, she's been amazing, and she feels horrible when I feel that way, but how do you not get disability guilt when you know that if you made more money and if you didn't have certain physical needs that would make a bunch of cheap houses impossible, how do you not feel bad about that? It's impossible. You just do feel bad about it. I was like, I'm so sorry that every time we look at a house, it seems like we can't have it because I can't live in it. And even though this one's like, it's okay, it's going to be fine if it's the one we have to get, like I said, I still have to make it adaptive because I can't get to the bedrooms. I can't get to the basement or anything until there's a stair lift. To which I'm sure a lot of people will say, oh, well, just get used ones. Yes, there are used stair lifts, but here's the problems. Either way, if I get a brand new one, they're literally thousands of dollars. And trust me, you can't just call your insurance company and get them to cover it. They really don't want to. It's an endless fight. It even took my grandpa, I think, like 6 months to a year to get his, and my grandma couldn't physically use the stairs at all anymore at the time. They don't want to use it because when you look into it, they have made it so that stair lifts, think of what stair lifts look like, are something that has to be proven to be medically necessary, that you cannot go without in your home, and that it isn't just in your house to raise the market value. Because having giant clunky stair lifts apparently makes your house increase in value and look prettier. Doesn't make any sense to me, but okay. So that's basically next to impossible, especially right now because insurance companies are goofier than ever these days. So you come to the used ones. Great. It's only like, $800 or something. For example, you have to measure everything, hope it's long enough for your staircase because they're built for the length of stairs of the house that they were originally in. If it's too short or too tall, you're gonna have a problem and you can't use it in your home. And even if you do find one that's the right length and height and whatever else, you can have a bunch of other problems that arise from used stair lifts, like that they have a funny quirk and they don't work properly, and the person may not have known if it was just, their grandpa's who passed away or something and he didn't live in the house. You may end up having an issue of fixing that specific type of stair lift to your wall. There's a lot that can go wrong with a used stair lift. Same with the fact that, so the kitchen in this house, it's probably the one we're going to get, is going to have to be adaptive too. I've lucked out that the countertops are pretty low, but the dishwasher isn't one I can easily use. I need to get a different type of dishwasher. I need to get a different type of stove. I need to get a bunch of small appliances because there are days where I can't physically go and stay at the stove making dinner. I have to just be sitting on the couch. There is so much that goes into making literally any house adaptive, and it's so expensive and so stressful, and you get that disability guilt. And I know I shouldn't. I know it's stupid, and that it's not my fault because I didn't ask to be this way. And luckily I have an amazing partner who does her absolute best to not allow me to feel that way. But it's just one of those things, like, if you have a friend or family member who's physically disabled and is looking for a house, and they start having like meltdown moments where they're just like, I don't know about this house, I don't know about this. Never assume that they're upset because they're being like bougie or something, or they're trying to like just get like a McMansion right off the bat. Generally, it's not that they don't like the house or they're trying to live above their means. Generally, if we're upset and we're having a meltdown, it's because we know we're eventually just going to have to settle and try to figure out a way to make the house adaptive, because there's no way it's going to come that way. Sorry about kind of ranty video. I just wanted to get out of my system and to let you guys know why I keep coming and going from this channel so much right now. I'm just so busy with all the house stuff right now. And if this one ends up accepting the offer, we only have 35 days to move everything while she's at work full time. So that's going to be a whole process. I might try to vlog it if I'm able to. If I can't, I can't. And people are just going to have to be patient with me. And I'll be filming when I'm actually able to. But thank you for your patience. I appreciate all the new subscribers. And I hope everyone has an amazing day. Do something that makes you happy today, as long as you're not hurting someone. And I'll see you all again soon.